Do you like quick playing card games? You like card games that can be taught to basically everyone? Well, then I have a game you ought to know about, and that is Otter from the Charming Games Collective. Stick around after break. I'll show you briefly how it plays, and then I will share my thoughts on it. All right, I'm going to show you briefly how Otter plays. To set up, you are going to shuffle a deck of tummy cards. You're going to put out a random head, 3 of them, on a random side. We have 2 other ones. You're going to then put out a random tail card. You're going to flip up a card into each belly. You're going to deal each person 10 tummy cards. You're going to give each person a rule summary, which has a lucky stone on the other side. Any remaining lucky stones are going to go out to the supply where anyone can see them and grab them. You're going to choose the first player, possibly whoever is last at the beach, and then you're ready to begin. On a player's turn, they are going to do 2 steps in this order. First thing is optional. You can do High Tide, which is before playing any cards, you can draw 0, 1, 2, or 3 cards. For each card drawn, you are either going to flip a head, flip a tail, or swap 2 heads, or swap 2 tails. So if I had went ahead and grabbed a card like so, I may look out here and go, you know what, I'd rather have this be odd, and I would flip that. You will draw the cards before you do the action, so you'll choose how many cards you draw that many, and then do the designated actions. The next part is mandatory. You are going to play a card on an otter's tummy that follows either the rule on its head or its tail. If you follow both rules, you are then able to play another card to that same otter, constantly playing again until you either pass and you can't play any cards, or you choose not to play any cards, or if you play a card that only satisfies one of the conditions. So for instance, looking at this one that I switched to odd, I could play my 11. It's an odd number. It matches the tail card, so then I can play another card. So I can either play this card because it matches the tail, or I could play this card because it matches the odd. So we just play there. It only matches one rule. My turn is done. It goes into the next player. To give another indication with High Tide and how that all could work, I am going to say draw 2 cards. Now because I did that, I can flip this card, and then let's go ahead and swap those 2. I then can go to my hand and go, you know what, we're going to play an odd card. We are going to play an odd card. We are going to play an odd card. And then let's go ahead and just get rid of another one of those. And then that would be another example of a bigger turn. Play is going to go on like this until someone has played all of their cards, which is going to signify the end of the round. If this is the first round you won, you are going to flip over your player A. You now have a lucky stone. If you already have a lucky stone, you are going to grab one from the middle. Depending on player count, determines on when the game actually ends. If you are playing with 2 players, and this is denoted on the bottom, 2 players is you have to play all of your cards 3 times. So it would be a lucky stone, and then if you did it a 3rd time, you would then win. So if you have not won yet, you have your lucky stone in front of you. You are then going to set up for the next round. What's going to happen is you're going to deal every player cards until their hands are back up to 10. They will not discard any cards they previously had. So if you were the one who ran out, you will give yourself 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And you'll also be dealing out the other ones. So if this person had 3 cards left, they'd be getting 7, etc. If a player, for some reason, has more than 10 cards in their hand, they are going to discard their cards randomly until they only have 10 remaining. The discard cards are going to go on the bottom of the deck. You are not going to be changing the heads, bellies, or tails. Those will carry over to the next round as well. And the next round starts with the player to the left of the previous player. So if I went out, this would be the next player. But that is the basics of how to play Otter. Let's get into my thoughts on it. So there you have it. That is Otter. So some of the things we really like about this one is the gameplay. The gameplay of it with the simple, basically playing cards, trying to match 2 themes so you can play even more cards, etc. that it's simple, it's quick, it's fast. We were able to teach the youth in no time. Actually, me and them played it first before we got Bry in on the fun. So as a 2-player, 3-player, it plays quick, it plays about the same, because in a 3-player, you have to win one less round. So it doesn't drag on past what you'd want it to. But in so saying that, if it does go too quick for you, it's simple just to shuffle up the cards and deal it out again and play another game, because this is one that you can change up. They have those very different types of cards for the requirements of not just, the odd and the near and the higher, but then you have those other ones, inside, outside, the totaling up, which those two add like that whole extra level of trying to figure it out, because if they have to total up to 20 or more, so you're adding the cards, and that's going to constantly be shifting. So the fact that you can start out with those 3 basic easy ones and fly through it, or you can add in the more complex ones, that's going to have people kind of thinking more and arranging more. The fact of that you have the ability to flip the cards and swap the cards, be able to put out like these big runs of cards, but you have to do that at the cost of drawing more cards into your hand. So really trying to figure out, what's going to be optimizing the movements where I don't have to grab a lot of cards in my hand and I'm able to shut them and get them out of my hand quicker. So you might draw 2 to be able to play like 3. Okay, well, you in essence got rid of 1 card. So just kind of that whole mechanic there of when you draw cards, you're able to swap stuff, but you want to make sure it's worth it. Because also playing 1 card isn't going to feel worth it when you start seeing your opponents playing 2, 3, 4, so forth and so on. And then the artwork itself, really cute, really awesome. I really like the way that they had the art for the heads, the tails, and then the cards you're playing body actually does line up and has those cool little things basically in their tummy, where if they're floating around, the things would be resting on their belly. So really love all that like attention to detail when the game designers and the artists do it, is, kind of like I said, to immerse you in that world and make it make sense and look good and not abstracting it out. But overall, for a small card game, I'm going to say that this is probably an 8 out of 10 for us as a family. It is one that we are easily going to be able to grab off the shelf, play, maybe even throw in our go bag for when we go and do our family outings to the various locations, because overall it is a fairly small footprint. You really just have, those 3 stacks of cards and a deck, and then you're good to go. So it's not this big sprawling game. So this is definitely an easy one that we can grab to go wherever we go on the go, with a lot of go. Alrighty, but that is my thoughts on Otter. So if I could get you to head down below and hit like, subscribe, comment, share, and ring that bell. And then if you're looking for more games, you can go ahead and hit up Miniature Market. Miniature Market has a link down below. If you use that link and buy from Miniature Market, we do get a portion of those sales back to help fund the channel. Alrighty, so figure out what you ought to know.